Okay. We're ready to go, James?
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening and welcome to the June 11th council meeting. I would like to call the meeting to order. So the Township of Black River Matheson acknowledges the Apatipia-Sinapec Nation traditional territory. We live, play, and work here together, and together we shall build a strong and inclusive community. I'd just like to remind everyone, a reminder to everyone that the meeting is, that the meetings are being recorded and they will be made available to the public on the township's website. Again, another reminder is that the meeting is being held virtually in accordance with a resolution number 2024-36. So I understand we have a resolution to confirm the agenda.
We do. Be it resolved that the agenda for regular council meeting of June 11th, 2024 be approved as printed.
Approved. Next on the agenda is disclosure of pecuniary interest in the general nature. I have no pecuniary interests on any matter on the agenda. Next, we have the adoption of several minutes, and I believe we have a resolution for that as well. Please read the resolution.
Moved by Minister Appointee, be it resolved that the following minutes are hereby adopted. Minutes of the regular council meeting held May 13th, 2024 and May 28th, 2024. Minutes of the special council meeting held May 10th, 2024. And we acknowledge the minutes of the Porcupine Health Unit Board of Health held February 29th, 2024, March 26th, 2024, and April 25th, 2024.
Okay, I have no questions on the minutes, so I'll approve the resolution. There are no items listed on the consent agenda, and we have no delegations. Under new business, there is a memo from the clerk treasurer titled CTMM 2024-03 regarding the the temporary appointment of a deputy clerk, a deputy treasurer. Can you read the resolution, please?
Moved by Minister Appointee, be it resolved that the Minister Appointee received memo CTMM-2024-03 and that the Minister Appointee approved the temporary appointment of a deputy treasurer based on memo CTMM-2024-03 and reflect those costs in the operational budget.
Okay, I understand that the individual that is included in the, or is identified as the deputy treasurer has been hired by the clerk treasurer in accordance with delegation of authority bylaw. Appointing the individual, I also understand as the deputy treasurer, will give the individual the authority to prepare the budget and attend council meetings to present and explain the budget throughout the budget process, as I understand it. The report also identified a cost for the individual of $4,500, and which I understand can also be absorbed within the normal budget of the department with no impact on the levy. I also understand that the individual is only temporary until the and this is reflected in the appointment bylaw, which will be later on in the agenda. The individual will be temporary until the budget is adopted and the tax bills and the utility bills are received. So I likely will not, as indicated, will be temporary and likely will not be the deputy treasurer for very long. So at this point, we're just accepting the report, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I approve the resolution as you read it. Okay, next under new business is a report from the Director of Infrastructure regarding calcium procurement. Can you read the resolution, please?
Moved by Minister Appointee, be it resolved that the Minister Appointee authorizes the Director of Infrastructure to proceed with the calcium procurement and scheduling of application from Delhi Dust Control, the price of $545,240 plus HST.
Okay, at this time, I'd like, please, can you walk us through the report? And I do have some questions.
Sure. So the report covers basically the reasons for calcium application. The biggest one being the stabilization of the road and holding the dust in, which has been brought up by the Ministry of the Environment last year and has already been mentioned this year as far as where we're at with planning. So the plan was always to have a 3-year rotation. That got interrupted a little bit last year just before my start. So we're trying to get back on board with that. This plan, the calcium application, the best way to do it, and kind of this golden opportunity mentioned in the report, is that we also have the gravel going down, which was from the 2023 aggregates program that came in late, so we didn't get it on the roads. So we have a chance now to put down fresh gravel, shape the roads properly, and get the calcium down to lock that in, and then to repeat that for 2025 and 2026. This will cover all of the roads over those 3 years. And then we have started a base. Moving past that, it would be less and less every year. So the focus of the report is to say, this hurts a little bit, but we need to get on track to have a proper roads program if we're long-term looking at the impact that this has to the budget, essentially.
Okay, so I see that in your report that there was a 2023 aggregates program, and that was approved by the former council. So, and I understand in your report, you've identified that the application of the calcium is most prudent when new aggregates are applied to the roads. So my question is, was the calcium program brought forward at the time that the aggregates program was brought forward? And if not, why wasn't it brought forward at that time?
So the calcium was already completed by the time I came on board last year, and I did have the aggregates to deal with, which was one of the first things I dealt with. I can't answer, I'm afraid, as to why they didn't line up last year. I wasn't here at that time. But I can say that last year, also there was a much reduced amount of calcium that was put down. I understand that there was some procurement delays, basically logistics and availability. And so when it was put down, it was kind of put down sporadically where they thought they would get the most benefit from it last year. So on top of the gravel not getting on the road last year, there was also a fairly ineffective calcium program last year. And again, just logistics problems. It wasn't necessarily anything that happened on our end. The calcium, it's quite competitive. If you don't get in early, it's hard to get trucks and whatnot. So again, I can't answer as to why. I can just say I know what happened last year, and I know what my recommendation is on how to correct this year and subsequent years moving forward to increase that lifespan of our road. One of the things I mentioned in the report, of course, is the incredible asset liability we have on our roads network. It's the largest in the AMP, so it's something we should really be focusing on as far as being serious about taking care of it now and increasing that expected life cycle of the road network.
It looks like, from what I saw on the quote from the supplier, it looks like there was about $164,000 that was spent in 2023. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So
about that, yeah.
Okay, if that same amount is used for this year, can spot maintenance get the municipality through until a new council can review the overall gravel and calcium programs together for implementation next year?
Of course, it could be done. I don't recommend it because when we're doing those spot applications, we're not getting the most out of our money. If it were to be a matter of waiting, I would say like don't do anything now. Let's not throw that money away, and we'll wait for council. Unfortunately, we have the health issues, the visibility issues, safety issues that have been brought up by Ministry of the Environment. So there's kind of an imperative for us to do it now. We can do less, but it's kind of a band-aid to it, and so not the most effective use of the money.
And do we know how much, I think you indicated that last year, even at 164,000, it was less or it wasn't enough. Do you know what was spent in previous years on calcium?
The number you threw out is about what I knew. And this year it is quite a bit more. Understanding that last year they also didn't do full roads. It was a matter of they were hitting, say, 50 meters before and 50 meters after a driveway on the gravel roads to kind of be effective for that household. The problem is that we still then have to do fairly intensive grading on the rest of the road. And so we're kind of just scraping it away. We're kind of just letting that flake back up and fly away with the dust, which is why I suggest that it's not necessarily the most effective way to do it. Would it stop some dust very temporarily? Yes. But does it have any benefit to us, to the budget, to the AMP, just to the lifespan of the roads and the health and safety of the residents? I don't think so.
Just a couple more questions. So I saw in the procurement policy that any costs over 20,000 must be tendered. But I see in your report that you obtained a quote. Is that company like the only company that provides this, or was this a contract that you had in previous years and that it covers and the contract covers a span of a number of years? And that's why you went to that company? I just want to understand why a quote was used
Sure.
instead of going to tender.
Um, there wasn't a tendering process. Sorry, there wasn't a tendering process. This is the company we used last year. I stuck with them. I did speak with the CAO about staying with this one company. There are others, but it's very limited. I think there's maybe 3 or 4 of them for the whole province, and at this time of year, everybody's trying to get them. So the strategy was just to stick with the people that know our roads, that we know them, that we have built a trust relationship with in previous years.
So what is a plan B if this is not approved? So for example, is last year's budget amount, by the sounds of it, it's obviously not sufficient enough to get you through. But it's a big ask without a budget.
Mhm.
And what's your plan B?
So just absolutely, yeah, it is a big ask. I'm very aware of that. I don't want anybody to think I'm taking it lightly. The plan B for us would be to try and water the roads. I had included that in the option, but over time that has very high costs as well. We do have the possibility of there's a fire truck being retired, but for their reasons, for fire reasons, they have to refresh their equipment. For us, it's still an exceptionally good truck. But that also would require modifications to turn it into a tanker capable of watering roads. So that would take some time. That would be my best plan B, because if we're looking at any of the other options in there, I threw in just a few numbers at the end that I had got from the Township of Clearview when they had similar issues. The costs are very prohibitive when it comes to even chip and seal or a hard surface treatment, anything like that. So if I had to go with a plan B, it would be to water the roads. But again, there would be some big capital investment costs in the equipment, and then staffing costs and permitting costs for the water moving forward each year.
But I mean, another option could be just continue with what process was followed last year. I know not ideal, but and I understand, Ministry of the Environment concern. Can a conversation be Like, I don't think Ministry of Environment is, they're not laying orders. But I think if we could explain the situation to them that the municipality has found itself in with no council right now, having to go through a by-election and a late start to a budget, I'm sure that Ministry of the Environment would understand the position that the municipality's in and demonstrate that, you know, you do have somewhat of a plan to bring forward to council. I know you can't speak for Ministry of the Environment just like I can't, but
Yeah. Well, I can confirm that they haven't issued any orders. They have been very great to deal with, very understanding, and they are aware of our situation. I've spoken with them about it, not just on this issue, but other times that I've interacted with them. So yeah, there would be some understanding there on their part. It would be a matter then of saying, like, which roads are we going to say are the most important, and there's a way we can figure that out with, you know, traffic volumes, number of entrances, and that kind of thing. So we could do that. It still leaves us kind of exposed a little bit on other roads that wouldn't be getting it. As far as so the two biggest issues are the dust when it comes to a health impact, just breathing that in and where that can lead, and the second is road safety, just with a lack of visibility. So we kind of have to balance that, and I've tried to reflect that in the report. I really do understand that this is a big ask. One of the things, because we don't have a council, we also don't have any capital projects going on this season as well. So there might be a little balancing out there as well.
Okay, those are all the questions I have. Unfortunately, you know, while I recognize, you know, the importance of the issue, you know, and keeping the dust down, it's definitely an important factor. And I understand that, you know, you would want to, you know, if you're laying down fresh gravel, I understand that the most opportune time to lay down that calcium is when you're putting fresh gravel. Is there an opportunity, like, we are going to be, I understand that staff are going to be, we're going to be outlining a process for, you know, looking at the budget, introducing the budget, even possibly as early as, is there an opportunity for you to come back, you know, within that budget and lay out a plan? Because if you said we're not doing any capital this year, is there an opportunity to move some of that over to this? But I can't make that decision until I see the overall.
Yeah, I'm sure, and I would need the treasurer to weigh in on this, but I'm sure there's a way in which money can be shuffled about within my particular budgets. So the possibility is there, yes.
Okay, so yeah, so, and also with that, if you can, you know, maybe come back, we do have a council meeting in 2 weeks as well, so that if it, you know, a more fulsome report on what a plan B for even the watering would look like. I think that I think I'd like to see that, but
Okay.
you know, at the current time, I can't approve the resolution as it's written. Okay. Do you need anything else from me on the resolution? I think we're, me just saying it's not approved, or do you want to read the resolution again? And
Nope, I've marked it as defeated.
okay, so the resolution is not approved. It does say that I received the report, right? No, okay. We authorize, so the approval to authorize is denied. Okay. But with the understanding that you'll come back with the plan B for the watering and include, we could look at the overall calcium or cost of the calcium in the budget in comparison to what would not be done. I usually don't
Yeah,
like.
I'll come.
Yeah, but we'll have to have that discussion.
I'll come back.
With the CAO and the clerk treasurer as well.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else to add on that item?
Not for me, no.
Okay. There were no notice of motions, and we are off, moving on to reports. So the first report is, sorry, it's an Integrity Commissioner investigation report. And can you please read the resolution?
I can, Madam Chair. Moved by Minister Appointee, be it resolved that the investigative findings report by the Integrity Commissioner, the report concerning Mayor Bender, be received and made available to the public, and that the report be deferred for consideration to the new council, including a deputation by the Integrity Commissioner and any replies from the respondents in accordance with the Township's Integrity Commissioner protocol.
Okay, I approve the resolution. And as noted, I believe the Integrity Commissioner reports will also be posted on the municipality's website if the public is interested in seeing those. They are also available on the in the agenda package as well. So next on the list is another Integrity Commissioner report, investigation report. Please read the resolution.
Moved by Minister Appointee, be it resolved that the investigative findings report by the Integrity Commissioner, the report concerning Mayor Bender, be received and made available to the public, and that the report be deferred for consideration to the new council, including a deputation by the Integrity Commissioner and any replies from respondents in accordance with the Township's Integrity Commissioner protocol.
Okay, I approve the resolution. Next on the list is the Integrity Commissioner complaint, a dismissed complaint by the Integrity Commissioner. Please read the resolution.
Moved by Minister Appointee, be it resolved that the correspondence from the Office of the Integrity Commissioner be received and that the dismissal letter to Kay Pepper versus Mayor Bender be filed and officially recorded as dismissed.
Resolution's approved. Okay, and moving on to the bylaws. Can you please read the resolution?
Yeah, Madam Chair. Moved by Minister Appointee, bylaw number 2024-19, being a bylaw to appoint a deputy treasurer, be read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed this 11th day of June, 2024.
Okay, so as I previously indicated, this is an interim appointment only, and the bylaw does identify when the individual's appointment will be terminated, and it is to get the municipality through the budget process. So I approve that resolution. Okay, under the unfinished business, we also have a request for an extension for an offer to purchase land, municipal land. Please read the resolution.
Moved by Minister Appointee, whereas during a regular council meeting held on October 24th, 2023, council approved the sale of municipal surplus land identified as 561400001100.0000 to Eva Martin for $4,800 plus HST, with buyer assuming responsibility for all legal costs. And whereas on December 4th, 2023, a letter was issued by the Clerk Treasurer's Office informing the buyer of council's approval and detailing the sale conditions, which included a 3-month time frame to finalize the transaction as per established practices. And whereas the Clerk Treasurer received the buyer's offer to purchase after the 3-month period had elapsed, therefore be it resolved that the Minister Appointee approves an extension of 1 month to complete the land transaction.
Okay, so I understand that this sale was approved by the previous council, and for all intents and purposes, the sale, the municipality would like to continue with the sale. It's in the municipality's interest, so I approve the resolution to grant the 1 month extension. Okay, there is no other business, or sorry, the only other business is the confirmatory bylaw. And can you please read the resolution for that?
Absolutely. Moved by Minister Appointee, be it resolved that bylaw 2024-18, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council of the corporation of the township of Black River Matheson, be read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed this 11th day of June 2024.
Okay, I approve the confirmatory bylaw. There is no closed session this evening, so that concludes our business for this evening. Can you read the resolution to adjourn?
Yes, Madam Chair. Moved by Minister Appointee that this regular meeting of council is hereby adjourned at 6:56 p.m.
Resolution approved. Okay, thank you, everyone.